Welcome to the day of mindfulness. We finally, here. Thank you, Harvard Buddhist Ministry Initiative, for collaborating with us, Temple Vietnam in Roslindale, to make this day possible. And thank you all for being here. Your presence is the gift for us and for you and for your loved ones as well. And today is kind of a small inner revolution that we are doing. We kind of rebel against what is normal, what we usually do on a Friday. But today we do something different. So we're here to, to stop, to pause, and to practice mindfulness. And the topic I'd like to discuss with you today is, where have you been? For those of us whose language is not English, this kind of question, where have you been, is actually is called the present perfect tense, right? And the present perfect tense is employed in English to describe past actions that have relevance or extend into the present. Things you have done in the past and it still have relevance or, to extend until today. So, where have you been is a question you can only ask in the present. Right? You cannot go back to the past to ask this question, or you cannot go to the future to ask the question because it will be future tense. Right? The tense implies the present is perfect, hence the name, present perfect. And where have you been is a reflection, of how you have manifested your life from the past until now, and it will extend into the future. And your answer, maybe I've been here, I've been there, but really think about a time when you think you have been somewhere. Are you really there? Or while your body is there, but your mind is somewhere else? Are you here with me right now? Where have you been? So, there's always a connection, a link between who we were in the past, who we are right now, and who we will be in the future. If you take a photo of an 8-year-old you, right, and who you are right now, would you say that they are two different people, or they are the same people? And the twist in Buddhist answer is, you neither same, you nor different. Why is that? And today we will find out. There is also a connection, a link between who we are and our way back ancestors, and also future generation. If you can answer this question correctly, you can establish a strong connection with the source of your inner strength, not just you, but the whole ancestral lineage that can, sustain you for a lifetime and also for, many later generations to come. So today we will attempt to answer this question by tracing our step back, right? So first, you have been in the past, meaning that you have been when your great grandparents were alive. Their existence guarantee your existence today. You are from non-you elements. So you take different parts of the nature of the world to make who you are today. Because if you look, if you don't eat or don't drink for a week, you may not find Jonathan or the Jeff or whoever that may be. You have to borrow from different non-you elements to make a you possible. A flower is made of non-flowers elements. Soil, water, sunlight, different parts of the world contributes to make a flower possible. And the past that your ancestor lived can be a far away, distant past, but it also can be yesterday. So when you contemplate the place you have been in the past, you can see you've been everywhere with your ancestors. And when you come here, you're pretty sure that you come here, by yourself, alone. There is some agency there. But surprisingly, we are here with our whole lineage. We carry them with us. We are not here alone. Maybe you think that you have some agency when you decide to come here, yet you bring your whole lineage with you today. It is easy to understand this when you think of a memory with someone whom you love that is not here. When you think of them, immediately they are in you. So you are not here alone. You bring them with you, and you bring that past, into this future and make that past possible. Someone say that the past is not important. It is not important to think and to dwell in the past. But the past is so important that it is the foundation of who we are today. So we have to acknowledge that we, even though our appearance, our existence were not in the past, but we were in the past. Our existence, our appearance, this form is not in the past, right? We weren't born yet, but we were there. We've been there with our ancestors, and we bring them here today with us, whenever we go, wherever we go. And it's very important to acknowledge that, because later on we want to trace back, to reconnect that link, because the source of power is there. So that's the first thing. We have been in the past, and we have been here in the present. Are we here? Sure? Trying. That's a good one. Yeah. So like I said, sometimes our physical body is here, right? Because our partner dragged us here, or someone who told us to be here. But our mind actually is, scattered. Whether it's in another project, whether it's in the, with another person, or it's just, it's outside, it's not here with you. So we want to make sure that the body and the mind is not separate. It has to be in the same place in order for us to claim that we are here. And it's very hard. Especially for those who, who think a lot, who go to school and, who go to work. For us, for monks, it's relatively easier. Still hard. But for you guys, it's more challenging. So in the theory of relativity, the position of the observer will influence the phenomenon being observed and affect the results of the observation. So your position will influence how you see the world, how you observe the world, and the result, the outcome of that observation will depend entirely on your position. So if your position is center, is with you, is right here, right now, then your view of your body, your view of the world is different from the you that has two different parts. The body is here, but the mind is somewhere else. So we want to make sure that we position ourselves well in order to have a desired outcome. So what is our desired outcome today is that we want to unite, connect, reclaim our sovereignty of our body, not just, doing things superficially, but we do things with intention, with mindfulness. And actually the act of you being here is a small inner revolution. We redefine what is normal and what is not. For example, when during lunch today, we'll practice silent eating. Scary, huh? We usually eat with friends, with TV or phones, right? Today we'll do something different, silent eating. So that is a revolution. We take back the power. We don't give the power to external conditions. We take back that. So that's why when we say we are here, we have been here, we have to be here both physically and mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Because the connection that we want to create should not have any interferences. For example, when you want to create a connection, you need a transmitter and a receiver, right? So there is nothing in between that interferes that connection. Because if that connection is interfered, then the connection will be very weak. And the signal that we send or receive will be very weak. So we want to remove all the external, unnecessary interferences to establish really strong connection. And in human connection, we are both, transmitter and also a receiver, right? So when we speak, we send out signal, verbal or non-verbal signals. And when someone receives, they also have to be there in order to receive. If there's something in between, then the message is not received well. So we want to really establish that connection without any interferences in between. My question for you is, right now in your life, what is between your body and your mind? What kind of interference is there? What is between you and your loved ones? What is in between that interferes your connection with them? There was a young monk whose name is Lin Chi. If you don't know Lin Chi, he's kind of big deal in Zen Buddhism. So he's a patriarch in Zen Buddhism. And when he was a young monk, he was in a temple, and he had been there for a long time, but his teacher, Huang Po, didn't teach him much, And one day, a Dharma friend told him, you should go ask the teacher, because you have been here for a while, you should ask something important, not just cleaning or, doing chores. So Lin Chi, took the advice, went to the teacher and asked, "Dear teacher, can you tell me what is the essential idea of Buddhism?" And his teacher, punched him in the face. And Linji said, yes, you can punch me, but what is, the core idea of Buddhism? Please tell me. He got a second punch. Someone called HR. And he said, it's okay to hit me, I'm your student. It's okay to hit me, but please tell me, what is it that the Dharma is? He got the third punch. And Linji was sad. He said that his teacher wasn't kind to him, so he left. He left Huang Po. And then on the way, he met another teacher. The teacher name was Tayu. And Linji told Tayu that, I'm so sad that my teacher wasn't very kind to me when I asked him about the, essential teachings. He didn't teach me, he didn't show me, but he gave me 3 punches. So that's why I left. So Tayu said, you are a fool. You didn't know that your teacher is so compassionate to you. You should go back and bow to him. That's what Tayu said to Linji. And at that moment, Linji woke up. Like he realized something, and he laughed and laughed. And then Tayu told him, what is going on with you? You just said that, your teacher wasn't kind, he didn't teach you, and now when I say that, you laugh. Actually, before Linji laughed, he said, oh, I realized that my teacher has nothing to teach me. And then he laughed. But, Tayu said, at first you told me your teacher wasn't kind, he punched you, and now you laugh and you say he didn't teach you anything, there's nothing in his teaching. What happened? And Linji gave Tayu a punch. And Tayu said, well, so you're not my student, you're not my problem, You go back to him, I don't care. And then Tayu left. So Linji took the advice, even though he punched that Tayu monk, took the advice, went back to his teacher, and he retold the story of him meeting Tayu. The teacher asked, where have you been? Remember, where have you been? Be careful. Where have you been? So Linji retold the story. He said, I met this monk and he told me about, I was a fool, didn't appreciate your compassion, and didn't realize your teaching, and that's why I came back here. And Huang Po, the teacher, Linji teacher, said, if I met that monk, I would give him a punch. And Linji said, don't wait, here it is. And Linji punched his teacher. So a lot of punching here, right? And the story just ends like that. You see? That's Zen, okay? So just to make sure that nobody comes to me and asks what is the essential idea of Buddhism. Did you sign the consent form before you come? So, at first, we would think this story is very cruel and, violent, right? But in the past, the relationship between student and teacher was very sacred. The reason Linji got punches because he wasn't, the idea of asking wasn't from him. He was trying to just, reason with his teacher, with the monk who told him to go ask. Why didn't you go? Why you sent me? That's why the teacher, kind of tried to get him out of that headspace of reasoning, of thinking. Descartes say, I think, therefore I am. That's the problem of Linh Chi right there. Thầy Thích Tam say, we can say, I think too much, therefore I'm not here to live my life. So because Linh Chi was thinking about abstract ideas in Buddhism, that he wasn't there for his teacher. Even his teacher wanted to transmit the Dharma, he wasn't there to receive it. And when he punched back the teacher, is an indication that now I am on the same level with you. I realize the truth. So we are on the same level. So now we can connect. It's like you turn on the radio and you have to turn on the right radio wave, right, in order to get that message. So Linh Chi was like that. At first he was living in his headspace of thinking and wandering. So he got 3 punches. And we are too, We get so many punches in life, even more painful punches, but we haven't realized yet. Think about some memories are heartbroken, of suffering. Those are life punches for you. And we are still here. We're still here to receiving punches and haven't realized the essential ideas of, spiritual practice, of our spiritual practice. So next time when you got punched by life, maybe it's not that, it's not that direct, but life will punch every one of us, right? Is that a sad news or is a familiar news that we hear every day? So what punches life will give us for sure is being human, getting old, getting sick, and dying. So those are punches that life will definitely throw at you. And some of us have more, some of us, have bonus punches, and we are still, haven't realized. So those punches can be, wake up call for us, right? Because if we don't get those punches, then we may just be lost. And we think those punches are normal. Actually, they are not normal. Too much suffering is not normal. Too many punches is not normal. Right amount is normal. Right amount of mud, you can grow lotus. But too much mud is not good. So let's contemplate our life. How many punches we got, and how much more we can endure until we say that's enough. I don't want to get punches anymore. Will I still give you those punches? Yes, of course. I'm sorry to say that, but you can dodge. You can dodge those punches. That's how you respond. And we have been shot by arrows. The first one is already stricken. We got the first one. That's why we're here, being human. But we can dodge the second one. That is how we respond to those second, third arrows. So there is one very famous story in a Buddhist sutra, Buddhist scripture, in the Lotus Sutra. The story is about a drunken man who was poor and always drunk. And one day he He was homeless too, so he traveled around, and one day he met his wealthy friend in a city, and his wealthy friend welcomed him, gave him food and drink, so that poor man, he ate and drank until he was drunk, right? And then the wealthy friend had to do something, and so he had to leave his town to go to another place. Before he left, he gave his poor friend a piece of diamond, and he sewed it into the clothes of his poor friend as as something for him to make a living, make a life, because that would be enough for him to live comfortably after that. But then when the poor friend wake up, he didn't know that he had that diamond in him. So he kept wandering, asking for food and necessity to sustain his life, right? After a while, he returned to that city where his wealthy friend lived, and his wealthy friend was surprised. Why this guy is still very poor? I thought, I gave him a diamond, he would be better. But when he asked his poor friend, why are you still very poor, friend? What happened? The friend say, I'm always poor like this. And the wealthy friend say, didn't I give you a diamond? And the poor friend say, what diamond? What are you talking about? Where? When? And he said, check your clothes. And the friend checked, and he saw the diamond. And that's it. That story ends there. So we didn't know where the friend came from and how did he use the diamond. The important thing is that he had that with him all the time. And he didn't know that he could be not poor. He could use it for his, his life. He had it the whole time. And the implication of the story was that we all have that diamond within us. The problem is that we don't know that we have it. Check your clothes again. We have it within us. And we don't know that's the problem. The problem is not that we are poor, but the problem is that we are not aware of what we possess. And what do we need? We need a good friend to remind us that we have something precious within us. So in Buddhism we call it Buddha nature. In different traditions you have different names for that precious diamond. And your job, the only thing you can do is to return to that, look and find your already existed diamond, and please tell me when you find it. When we see it and when we put it in use, that is the strongest, the most profound source of energy that we can utilize for ourselves and for people around us. So the one practice in Buddhism is taking refuge. So taking refuge is to return to your essentially inner awakening nature. You can in different traditions you return to be one with God, with the spiritual ones, with that really strong well of energy. Because every day the moment we wake up, we are looking outward to find energy, to find support, and we forget that energy can also be found from within. And that's what we are doing today here. to return to that source of energy. In the Parinibbana Sutra, the Buddha said, you be the light unto yourself. You are the light. And very surprisingly, Jesus in Matthew also say, you can be the light for the world as well. So you be the light for yourself and you be the light for the world. And how we do that is to really reclaim that I have been here. I am here right now. So check back, bring your mind back here right now. So that is, we're here. And then you have been in the future. When we say we connect to ourselves, is also to connect to our past ancestor and future generation. Have you ever thought that you would be someone else's ancestor one day? You are, right? 5, 6 generations later, you will be their ancestors. So the question is, how can I be a good ancestor for them? Because now let me ask you, when you are suffering or dealing with difficulties in life, who is one person in your ancestral lineage that you can think of that bring you peace and joy or relief? Who is that person? Grandpa, great-grandpa, grandma? Who is that one person? Many people I ask say, I don't have anyone. Because to their knowledge, their ancestral lineage has been in so much suffering. So if that is the case for you, then the question is, how can I be that person, that ancestor, for my later generation? When they think of me, they find peace, calm, joy. So we are talking about genetic ancestors, right? Those people in our, genetic lineage. And still that gives you an opportunity and a challenge when you think about the ancestral lineage. Because it's not easy to be a good ancestor. Many of our ancestors didn't have a practice, or they didn't know how to deal with suffering well, so that maybe they pass it down to us, and we inadvertently inherit those, negative suffering seeds. And would you want to pass it down to your later generations? I hope not. So how are we right now in this environment try to be a good ancestor to our generation? If not, if that is a difficult job, let's look at the spiritual ancestor. So when I think about spiritual ancestor, I think about Buddha, Bodhisattva, and the Great Master. For you, maybe Jesus or God or Allah. Those are your spiritual ancestors. So if it's too hard to think about genetic ancestor who can be strong for you, think about those. Borrow the energy from your spiritual ancestor. And they have been, they have been in the past. They are here with you, and they will be with you if you use them, if you connect with them and bring them into the future and to manifest their energy for your later generation. That's how we have been in the future. We manifest as good ancestor for our later generation. But if you are trying to deal with your suffering right now, it's more challenging, right? But it can be an opportunity, because when you think of it, you become bigger. You are just not this one person. You carry with you the whole lineage. You're not just one single form. So that gives you an opportunity. And how we do that today? How we, first of all, try to connect with ourselves and try to connect the whole lineage. Is the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness allows us to recognize, conditions that are already here that can bring about joy and happiness. Many of us are, I think all of us is aware of the situation in the world right now, right? Not everybody has this kind of tranquil and calming and relaxing environment to practice. So we already have this kind of environment. Why aren't we happy yet? So mindfulness allows us to realize that, I've been with this beautiful condition already. So the realization of these conditions is already enough for me to be happy. And mindfulness invites us to come back to take care of ourselves. Because with this available, happy, conducive environment to practice, we give ourselves time and space to take care of this suffering. Because when we practice, maybe when you practice alone, it is difficult. But when we have a collective group, collective energy, we support each other. So we take this opportunity to cultivate mindfulness, and from that mindfulness, we come about clear comprehension. Clear comprehension is see things as they are, not as they appear. See things as they really are. So when you have that power of mindfulness within you, you see things clearer, not just in accordance with the appearance that things may show up. And today we will experience different kinds of practice to do that. Second is to pause. Pausing is a beautiful gift. First of all, it's intervene and suspends our habitual reaction and allow us to ask, hey, what is going on? Second, it's invite self-awareness to be the leading cause of following responses. And third, it pushes back the dominant narrative of the way things should be or the way things are. And the last one, it open possibility and invite others to reflect, whoa, this is not his or her regular behaviors. So the pausing is a wonderful gift that it developed as human freedom. Human freedom involves the capacity to pause between stimulus and responses, right? And in that pause, you choose one response wisely, and then you throw your weight to that response. So that human freedom. Human freedom isn't to respond immediately to what happened to us, but it involves the capacity to pause. And infant babies don't know how to do that. It develops with our brain when we grow. So next time when you see someone who react immediately, they're babies. We grown up know how to pause. It's important because people with trauma, it robs them that ability. Because when something triggers the trauma, they immediately go to that survival mode. So for those of us who are, relatively healthy, pausing is really a gift, great gift that we have, and we should use it. Another practice can be to be bigger than yourself, to extend your connection. Because there are things that are bigger than ourselves. So when you think about it, is it big? It's not a trick question. You don't get punched. It's small, right? But then you put it here, it becomes big. It's still this small thing, but when you look it too closely, it becomes so big, it can hinder your seeing. Similarly, this is your problem. If you put it right here in front of you all the time, this small problem becomes so big. But if you, I don't want to throw it, but if you put out there, it's among other problems. And also you can see other people too, right? So if you can see that there are bigger things than this person, then everything becomes so solvable. It's not to ignore, or it's not to, dismiss your problems. It's to give your problem a different perspective. Give yourself a different perspective to look at, your problems or our problems. Yet there are big problems in the world. But you think a panic person and a calm person who would solve that big problem better? No punch. A calm person, right? I would think so. If you panic, everything will be, chaotic. So if you can think bigger and connect to wider, with wider group of people, or something that is bigger than yourself, something more sacred, you will not be alone. Because the reason you are alone, because you cannot connect with anyone, and loneliness is a pandemic, is a problem. And I heard that in the UK they have the Ministry of Loneliness. That's so not normal, right? So if we can extend our connection to the past, to the future, to people around us with genuine connection, you will never be alone. And the most important connection is through you. When you can establish your connection, you draw energy from within. And this inner energy is never exhausted. The only things that is not lasting is the external condition. The more you acquire, the more empty you become. So drawing connection, drawing energy from within allows you to have a stronger source of power. And that source of power can connect with more people. It can send strong signals and can receive signals better. And one pitfall I would want to emphasize, sometimes during our practice there would be the interference of egoistic self. Sometimes it will convince you that it's self-care, but actually it may as well be the entitlement of the egoistic view. And it actually interferes with genuine connection. The egoistic perspective, the self-centered perspective, is actually the interference that we want to be aware of. And what I mean when you meet someone and who is always think about themselves. So that is a pitfall, and we want to be aware of that. And like I said, people who were traumatized, experience traumatic events, would try to detach themselves from their body, because the body was or has been the not a safe space for them, because they were violated. So they try to avoid or detach from the body. In the book, When the Body Says No, Dr. Gabor Mate said that people who detach themselves to the extent that they don't even know that they have cancer, and the cancer grows so big until the final stage that they cannot enjoy it anymore, and they realize that. So for those who who were traumatized when they were, children, avoiding the connection, avoiding the body is actually making them, or how they survive. The way to reconnect is challenging for them, because in order to be healed, we have to reconnect. The more you disconnect or detach, the more suffering you have to endure. It can be done, but it is difficult, it is challenging. Today's practice is inspired by the mindfulness practice of Buddhism, and I also invite you all to bring your own spiritual tradition into the practice today, to be mindful, to pause, to reflect, and like it or not, your whole lineage is here with you today, and be aware of them, acknowledge them, be curious, because whether here or out there, life will go on, life will continue, and with you in it, how you show up, how you are available for yourself is what counts. So we don't limit ourselves into one spiritual traditions. Actually, it's beautiful to have different spiritual traditions in this space, so that we can give us or provide different experiences. I want to conclude this talk with a short story. So when you're holding a cup of coffee and someone comes along and bump into you and you spill coffee, right? And I ask, why do you spill the coffee? You say, because someone bumped into me. Wrong. Because you're holding coffee. If you hold in tea, you will spill tea. If you hold in water, you will spill water. Life gives you a cup. What is it that you're holding? Is it anger? Is it sadness? Or is it kindness? When someone bumps into you, what spill out is what you're holding. So today we try to, first of all, empty our cup, and then put into it some kindness, compassion, loving. So when life punches or someone bump into us, what spill out is our offering to life. Okay? Thank you for your listening.